So, let's say you've done it. You've built an incredible startup, you've won over your home market, and now you're looking at the big one, the US. But there's always that one giant question, right? How do you, the founder, actually get there to lead the expansion yourself? It's a huge hurdle, but today we're going to walk through the playbook that makes it happen. Sometimes the biggest journeys start with the simplest questions. For fintech founder Rhea Kapoor, it was this one. Can you demo this for my Austin team in person? Now for her, that wasn't just a request. It was the starting gun for a massive, high-stakes push to get into the American market. So just to be clear, this is not going to be some dry legal explainer. Nope, we are going right into the trenches to follow the real-world story of a founder who figured it all out. This is her playbook, and it's your chance to see exactly how she did it. Okay, so let's set the stage. Meet Rhea Kapoor. She's a brilliant founder from Mumbai, and her company, LedgerLeap, is a fintech that's already doing big things. But Rhea, she's got her eyes on a much, much bigger prize. I mean, look at these numbers. In just a few years, LedgerLeap was already a serious player. They had 28 employees, were pulling in $1.7 million in annual recurring revenue, and had 42 major clients across India, the UAE, and Singapore. But, and this is the big but, Rhea knew they were hitting a ceiling. To get to that next level, they had to crack the US market. So that brings us to the million-dollar question. How does a founder from Mumbai physically and legally move to the US to run the show? Well, the answer is a visa that you might not have heard of, but it is incredibly powerful for founders. It's called the L1A visa. And for Rhea, this was the golden ticket. You can basically think of the L1A new office visa as a founder's fast lane. It's literally designed for companies that need to send a key executive, like a CEO, to the US to build a brand new operation from scratch. A new office, a new team, the whole shebang. It's tailor-made for founders like Rhea. Okay, so getting this visa boils down to a three-part test. And you've got to nail all three. Think of it like a stool with three legs. If one's wobbly, the whole thing falls over. First, you need the right company structure. Second, you have to prove you've been a real executive for at least a year. And third, you need a solid plan for your executive role in the US. All right, this is where it gets really interesting. Let's actually break down Rhea's playbook and see how LedgerLeap checked every single one of those boxes. This is the practical how-to part of the story, and it's full of gems for anyone thinking about doing this. So first up, company structure. And honestly, the biggest takeaway here is to keep it super simple. LedgerLeap's Indian company set up a brand new US company, a Delaware C Corp, that it owned 100%. That's it. This clean parent-subsidiary relationship is exactly what immigration officers are looking for. No confusion, no red flags. Now, this table is so important for understanding part two. Look at Rhea's role in India. The check marks are for high-level stuff, strategy, leading expansion, managing department heads. But see the X for operations? She delegated that. She wasn't in the weeds. This distinction is absolutely critical. It proves she was acting as an executive, not just an operator, and that's a make-or-break deal for the L1A. Okay, on to the final challenge, and this is where a lot of founders get stuck. Because LedgerLeap was setting up a new office, they had to prove this wasn't just some idea on a napkin. They had to show US immigration that this was a serious, viable business from day one. So, how'd they pull that off? Well, money talks, and in this case, it shouted. LedgerLeap transferred a whopping $1.2 million into their new U.S. entity. This wasn't just about funding. It was a massive signal to the government that they were all in. It said, we are serious, we are well-funded, and we are here to stay. But money alone isn't enough. They also laid out a clear hiring plan for 3 key U.S. employees within the first year. This was such a smart move because it proved that Rhea wasn't coming over to do everything herself. Her job was to build and lead a team, an executive's job. And that $1.2 million, it wasn't just some random number. It was carefully planned to give them an 18-month runway. Enough time to hire those people, land some clients, and really get the business humming. This showed incredible foresight and stability, which is exactly what you want to project in an application like this. And then they locked in the final piece of the puzzle, a physical office. They signed a lease in Austin, Texas. This made the whole thing tangible. It wasn't an idea anymore. It was a real company with a real address in the US. It grounded the entire plan in reality. So you might be wondering, okay, but why the L1A specifically? What about other visas? And that is a fantastic question, because as you're about to see, for a founder in Ria's position, the L1A isn't just one of many options. It's pretty much the only one that truly works. Just look at this breakdown. The L1A is fast, it lets the founders stay in control, and it even has a clear path to a green card. Compare that to the other options, which are often slow, lottery-based, and full of weird rules that don't work for founders. For someone who needs to be in charge and move quickly, the choice is a no-brainer. The L1A is a strategic weapon. So Ria's story isn't just cool to hear about, it's a blueprint. It's a step-by-step guide you can actually use to plan your own US launch. So let's boil it all down into the key takeaways, the things you absolutely need to get right. Okay, you ready? Here's your playbook in 5 steps. 1. Get the structure right. That parent-subsidiary thing is non-negotiable. 2. Document your executive role. Prove you were the shot caller. 3. Have a killer year 1 plan for the US. 4. Put real money behind it to show you're serious. And 5. Plan to hire people so you can focus on being the leader. That's the formula. And here is the really great parts. The L1A isn't just a one-and-done visa. It's a journey. You get approved for 1 year to start. In that year, you build your team and grow the business. Then you can file for an extension. And the ultimate goal? The L1A puts you on a direct path to an EB1C green card. It's a long-term strategy for building a permanent presence in the US. You know, when you really zoom out, this is about so much more than just a visa process. It's about letting the best ideas and the most driven people move freely. When we enable founders like Rhea to expand into new markets, we're not just helping one company succeed. We are literally accelerating global innovation for everyone. So, as we wrap this up, I really just have one question for you. You've seen the playbook, you know it's possible. The only thing left to ask is, what's the next step in your global ambition? The US market is right there. Are you going to go for it?